All right, everybody, we're just going to give it a few seconds here. Welcome to the Meridian PMK MzeroManage call. I'm going to get my screen shared here and we will go through this. I see a couple people still joining, so we'll give them a second. All right, looks like our attendance numbers are holding steady right now. All right, so good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Meridian Personnel Management Kiosk and M0 special today. This is our first one in the new year. I know it's almost halfway through the month of January, but allow me on behalf of Meridian to welcome you and say Happy New Year. We're glad you're here. It's a new year. It's a new year to get some PMKs, get some kiosks working, get back to work, and stay safe and manage our PMKs remotely. So as we always do about this time, we're going to talk a little bit about the PMK. If you're not familiar, just go ahead and listen here. We're kind of explain a little bit about the PMK, also known as the Personnel Management Kiosk or the Temperature Taking Kiosk, or as I've also heard it referred to as the Meridian. So the Meridian in this case is the Personnel Management Kiosk. It is a temperature screening device. The device has a thermal imager on it. It will take the temperature of users as they step in front of the kiosk, so that way they can have their temperature taken. Allows the user to set a threshold. So if a user scans in at or above that threshold, an alarm will sound on the kiosk, or it will notify them that they have abnormal temperature. The kiosks do come in several different configurations. As you can see here on the screen, we have our pedestal mount, which is about a 48-inch tall stand with the head unit or the kiosk head on it. That device is pretty good for your average height individual. The screen can pan, can tilt, can be rotated. So if you've got an individual who's a little shorter or you've got an individual that's a little taller, that head unit can be aimed for best alignment and best scanning procedures. So along with that pedestal mount or pedestal style, we do have a child height pedestal. That child height pedestal, perfect for grade schools, elementary, middle schools, uh, educational facilities. I've even heard great things from healthcare facilities where these units are perfect for anybody who might be in a mobility scooter or a wheelchair. They're significantly shorter and are going to fit individuals within that height range quite a bit better. We do have a pedestal with LED, same as the child height, same as the regular pedestal as far as how it operates and what it does. It just includes an extra little LED light, a little ring around the top of the kiosk pedestal that does feature a relay. So if using a relay, whether it be for access control to trigger some sort of other event, or you want to hook it up to a light, turnstile, gate, as I mentioned before, access control door, you do have that ability with the pedestal with LED. The other versions will interface with a relay board, but that relay board is a separate item. However, the pedestal with LED does have a voltage controlled relay. Moving right along, if a compact form factor or mobility is your key or is your goal for the kiosk, we do offer that countertop model. Countertop model takes up a significant less space than the rest of the pedestals. It's significantly lighter and it can be moved around fairly easy if you can lift up to 20 pounds or so. And last but certainly not least is the wall mount. So the wall mount PMK with this bracket, you can mount it to a wall. It can be up tight against the wall form factor wise, and that way users aren't tripping over it. You can mount it, different mounting options. I've actually heard of some users mounting it to a VESA swing arm to get a little bit of a kind of 360-degree rotation with that device. So we're talking about MzeroManage here. when we're referring to MzeroManage, we're referring to the cloud software. So what that means is these devices have the ability to communicate, connect, or synchronize with the cloud. So MzeroManage gives you a way to remotely manage some of the settings on these kiosks to manage personnel, if you're onboarding faces for facial recognition, or if you want to pull reports. What is this good for? This is good for one kiosk. This is good for 100 kiosks. All the functionality that you're used to having to perform on the kiosk directly to the local device, most of those functionalities can be replaced or can be managed via the MzeroManage web console. So some of the features and capabilities, I touched on this a few seconds ago about uploading and adding a list of employees and their pictures. This is crucial for the facial recognition component. You're able to upload a database of your employees or your guests or your users, whomever will be scanning with these devices. You're able to upload some information about them, get them in the system, so when they scan in with their temperature on the kiosk, you have a way to recognize them. You have a way to associate that temperature or that scan with that individual user. It does keep a log of temperatures. It does have the ability to send out an email alert when someone scans in on the device and they're at or above that alarm threshold. I mentioned earlier that the device would sound an alarm. That is you could toggle that on or off. Same thing with the email alerts. You can subscribe to email alerts, and you'll get an email along with a link to the scan you can click on, and it will take you to that individual or take you to that record, and you can quickly enact your organization's high temperature or possible COVID reaction plan, whether that's to get the individual outside, test them again, or isolate them for a few minutes. That's again like your organization will handle that, but you can receive an alert to go ahead and get those wheels moving. Along with logging all the information, it gives you the ability to retrieve the reports. So you can sort it per kiosk. You could get all your connected kiosks. You can do some filtering, and you can export these reports from the web console to a CSV format without having to take off the head unit, without having to fish out a USB drive and pull that information directly from the unit. You're able to see if a kiosk is online, when the last time it communicated with the server, any messages, any errors, things along those lines. And I mentioned, of course, several times, getting in there and changing those settings. That's one of the biggest selling points, or one of the biggest asks when we initially rolled this out, was to be able to configure some of these settings remotely. It does have a dashboard portal, which will give you the most 16 recent scans as they've come in on the device. Your entry report will give you any and all scans for a selected date range, but your dashboard will show you your more recent scans. You do have the ability to group these kiosks, whether that be for permission reasons. You say, hey, I don't need Timmy seeing kiosks at this location. You can separate that information. You can separate these kiosks by groups, so the information or the access or what information a particular individual sees can be controlled or limited. You do have the ability to use it in like a cloud mode. Cloud mode would essentially say, once the device takes a scan, takes a picture, takes a temperature, it will upload that information to the cloud database, to the storage there, and then it will delete it from the local device. The way the device works out of the box is it has a gigabyte of internal storage for scans. Once that gigabyte of scan data is reached, the oldest scan is removed and replaced with the newest. So that's going to happen if you have the MzeroManage Cloud and you do not have local device storage turned on. It will delete from the local device upon successful upload to the cloud. If you have it turned on, it will still upload to the cloud, and it will still keep those scans and images on the device until that gigabyte is reached. So if you're not using facial recognition, you don't have a plan to use facial recognition, you just want more of an alerting or a temperature screening device, and you don't really have to, let's say, onboard all your employees, that you can sit back and relax for a second. If you do plan on using the kiosk's facial recognition feature to upload, let's say, all your 100 employees or your 100 guests or users at a site, then this is very key. This is one of the biggest things. I'll go ahead and start with the golden rule. The better the quality and resolution of the photograph that you place into a user's profile for facial recognition, the more accurate, the faster, and the more reliable those facial recognition scans are going to be. So that goes for a multitude of there's a multitude of things that could prevent a picture from being a quality scan, but the things that make them a quality scan are very simple. On your screen here, just take a good hard look at the image and the way it's cropped. You can see from the top of the head to the chin, a little bit of the neck, and I can get ear to ear. This is what I like to refer to as a passport or an ID style photo. So your government issued ID, your passport, etc. This is the format you want. I don't really need to see the shirt. I don't need to see the background. It should be as plain and nondescript as possible. It should be just like what you would go to Walgreens or CVS, and you'd have your photograph taken there in the photo department for your passport, that same format. So you do have the option when adding employees and their faces to do a bulk import. Um, Sounds complicated. It's really not. There is a lot of information in the bulk upload section, or there's a lot of information about that and how that works. But just a top-down view, you would create a spreadsheet. We have a template. You create a spreadsheet on this template that's provided on our website. You'd fill out the pertinent information for your employees. You would gather their photos in this nice format here. You'd gather those photographs, you'd zip them up into a zip file, and then you would upload those two pieces of information, your CSV sheet with all the information, and then those photographs, and you would upload those to the cloud, and it would populate that information within a few minutes, depending on how many photos, pictures, the size of those photographs, etc. Couple of size constraints, both physical and file size, pixel size, so to speak. So I'll just go down the list here. I mentioned when you're zipping up photos for bulk upload, what you need to do is you need to make sure that they are in the root of that zip. So they should not be, you should not click on a zip file and then see a folder. You should be able to double click on that zip file and then instantly see your images. That's a common hang up. I recommend 7-zip for Windows users. It's a pretty powerful tool. It can go as it can be as complicated as you want to make it, but as far as just creating a zip file archive, it's pretty straightforward. I love it. Been using it for years. That's 7-zip. It is free. But the image file type. So we only support JPEG and PNG, which is portable network graphic. So it must be one of these two file types. No GIFs, no HEIC, which is the new Apple format. That would be incompatibility. That is incompatible. That would be an issue. So JPEG or PNG. Most Windows applications, including the free Windows Photos app, is on there. That will allow you to convert, export, etc. JPEG, PNG. Images must be named after the employee ID. So what does that mean? When you're doing the bulk upload is what this is referring to. If you're just going to upload a single individual picture line item, you don't need to worry about it. It can be named their name. It can be named anything. This is just for bulk upload. So with bulk upload, the images must be named after the employee ID. So down here, you'll see this image example is named 1999.png. If I had a record in my spreadsheet that said Tim Little and the employee ID was 1999, this photograph would be automatically associated with that record. So upon upload, it's going to look, oh, 199.png, Tim Little, this line item here, Tim Little's employee ID is 1999. These two records will be married or paired in the cloud, and then that record is built. The physical size of the photograph in regards to the file system size is no greater than 500 kilobytes. So we do not need a super high resolution, go out and buy an $800 digital single lens reflex camera. Nothing like that. A simple, well-framed photograph is all you're going to need for this. The physical size of the photo in regards to pixels really does not have to be much larger than about 1200 pixels tall by about 800 pixels wide. You can go bigger. It's going to increase the file size. It might increase the time it takes for it to be transferred up and down through the cloud to the kiosk, but you can go bigger as long as it's under 500 kilobytes. Uh, Physical pixel dimensions, if you upload anything larger than 4096 pixels tall by 2688 pixels wide, the kiosk will physically reject it because it is beyond its size constraints. Your images, your passport style images, need to contain at least 2/3 of the entire photo area with the face. I would say this is probably more, it's probably pushing 4/5 or 3/4 of the image. That's perfect. I want to see little to no background. I just want to focus on the face so that way the facial data algorithm can perform its tasks. Again, with alignment, no tilting, no heads to the angle, no looking down, no looking off to the side. The typical, school photo where you might be sitting facing straight and they'll have you turn your head to the side. Can't have those. They have to be forward looking. Again, this guy right here is the prime example. He's looking right into the lens of the camera. He's not tilting his head. Smiling's okay. You can smile. I would say if you have people with dimples, that does offer another point of recognition on the face because dimples are a unique facial feature. And if you have individuals that might look the same and one has dimples, I have had some issues where one person smiled and then they were recognized appropriately because those extra points of recognition were available. No noisy background. Do not take the staff photographs in front of a paisley print or a big work of art or a very busy or geometrically heavy wallpaper. As plain white, gray background as you can get would be the best. We don't want to use black as a background because then shadows can kind of merge and then you're throwing off your reliability. It's not the best quality. Slate gray is okay, but as far as like a jet black, like a flat black where you'd paint like at a theater or a stage, messes with the shadows. A lot of things can blur and bleed together, and that's not good for the facial data recognition. Last but not least, the limit, the cap for the data algorithm or the facial data algorithm and just the processing power of these units is about 20,000 photographs. So if you have more than 20,000 unique individuals that need to use a singular kiosk, then might want to get you 2 kiosks. No, but that would be about it for facial recognition. We'd have to you'd have to talk to your sales representative to explore some possibilities there. So I want to talk a little bit about support, startup video library, how to use the software, how to manage the software. We do have an extensive online support resource, both with information about the units, how to use them, upcoming updates, articles on hooking things up, integrations, and items like that. So we'll talk a little bit about the portal. So there's 2 portals that the user interfaces live on. There is the MzeroManage portal. This is the managed server portal. This is where you're going to go to add devices. This is where you're going to go to kind of do some more higher level technical aspects of the whole job of adding and managing and pulling reports for the devices, not the scans, but device health, messages, things like that. The manage view, now this is the fun one. This is where the fun starts. These are where your scans come in. These are where your employees are added. This is where all the meat and potatoes, so to speak, occurs. All your scans, all your interactions, your checking, your pulling of reports is going to occur here. I'm going to switch screens real quick. I'm just going to give you guys a demonstration. Let me pull my window over here. I've got one rule. We test this here, and I'm not the most photogenic person. So you cannot tease or make fun of me, or else all bets are off. All right, let me make sure I got the right screen shared here. All right. So this is the fun part. Like I said, this is where the meat potatoes are. So as I'm talking to you, I'm actually going to scan in on a device. So again, it might catch me in a weird face. So as I scan in on a device, my most recent scans are going to populate here on this page. So what you're going to see, oh, there you go. I told you it was going to do it to me. So as you can see right here, mid talking to you, the device has scanned me, and within about 2 to 3 seconds, that scan appeared on the cloud or on the cloud dashboard. So these are rolling, meaning if I were to do another scan right here, right now while I'm talking to you, had to keep my mouth closed so I didn't get a goofy scan. That image is going to pop up. So it's just going to immediately pop up, and then you're going to see the older image be removed. That's perfect. That's great. Let's say you have more than 16 scans. How do you get to those other scans? Easy. You're going to come to your reporting feature. You're going to go to your entry report, and you'll see up here, I've got today. So for today, I'm able to see all the scans that have occurred while we have been on today's date, while we've been the 13th. I have the ability here to kind of quickly search through using the graphical user interface. Let's say I just want to know who failed. I can type in fail, and I can see here that the following fails occurred. So these are all, for the record, not real fails. These were spoofed fails, or they were test fails using hot compress and other testing materials. So, yep, I'm at work, but my actual real life scan was within an acceptable range. But for testing purposes, we need to do this. We need to test this and make sure alerts and other features are working. So, like I said, quickly, I can come through here. I can search for fails. I could search for names. I could search for a VIP ID if I know the employee's VIP ID. If I want to see, who all had 100.1 or who just had anything over 100, I can also search there. If I want to see who had anything in the 98 range, I can search there, so on and so forth. Let's see. So this also is exportable. Exportable. I'm making up words. You can export this entry report to CSV. I can check for this week, I can check the last 30 days, or I could select a custom date range. I can say I want to know everything that happened between the 5th and the 8th. And then there it will go. And you can see we do not have the most photogenic staff, but that is not our fault. That is just the way we were made. Anyway, so that's our entry report. Like I said, the dashboard, the entry report. If you're looking for someone, if you're verifying scans, the dashboard and your entry report are your friends. Let's see. Kiosks. So if you group kiosks, you can group all these kiosks out here. You can check their last contact. When did they go? You see, we got one that hasn't contacted since last year, September. I'm pretty sure that one's broken. So that was a demoed unit here in the office. It's gone. As far as our regular testing devices, you can see that they have communicated, and this is in Pacific time. So within the last minute or two, some of these devices have pinged or phoned home. Features you can get with this. If you have faces in the cloud that are not on your devices, you can use a sync. This is only for faces in the cloud. If you have faces on your kiosk currently that are not in the cloud, do not use this sync button. This is just for faces in the cloud that need to be pushed out to the devices. Reboot. Let's say for some reason you just want to reboot the scanning app. Click reboot. You can't see it, but I can hear. The application has shut down, and just like that, it has restarted. If you are using the dry contact relay or the relay board on the LED model, you do have the ability to remotely trigger that relay. So if I had a desk guard or a front desk person that needed to allow a bypass or open the door for somebody and they're just in a nice mood that day, I can click this button. That's the sound of the relay clicking over, and then I can go ahead and allow them entry. Settings. This is your setting page. There's not enough time today in this webinar to go through all the settings or to go through some possible settings. Just a couple of things we'll point out, turning on mask mode, turning on stranger mode. This is all accomplished both on the device, and you can also change those settings here from MzeroManage. And last but not least, I want to talk about the bulk import. So this is the bulk import page where I mentioned before you would essentially choose a spreadsheet. You'd have a spreadsheet there. You'd have a zip file with your images. From there, you would attach this information. You click submit, and then the program would run its courses, and it would extract that information, match up and marry the faces with the individuals on the sheet, and then populate their personnel database, which is over here. So I'm going to switch back real quick. We're almost to the questions part. All right, let me make sure my screen's good again. All right, perfect. So what I want to talk about now is some of the additional support packages, some of the additional features for new users. This could be current users. Maybe you are a beta tester and you're still with us and you just need to get some extra time, or you're worried about the longevity or the extended warranty on your devices. I'll touch on this. So we do offer with new and existing customers with MzeroManage the ability to have a 1-hour onboarding session. It is really designed for individuals who want either help setting up some of the settings and configuration on the device. You just want to go through, did I do this right? Does this look okay? Our usage case is this. It gives you 1 hour of unadulterated, uninterrupted time with a technician here at Meridian directly to work through any issues, questions, or just to be a helping hand during setup for your devices. We do offer an additional training session. That's a 20-minute long session that is really kind of geared toward the physical device. So if you're looking for some MzeroManage help or questions, if it's just simple questions, of course, there's always support tickets you can open up through our website, as well as a dedicated 20-minute session for you, or I believe it's up to 15 or 20 members of your team are allowed to come and join that session and get some one-on-one. Now we do have the extended support and warranty packages for the devices themselves. We have our PMK Select, which gives you 60 minutes of after-hours support. That's every weekday, excluding holidays and weekends. And should something happen in your device that it needs to be replaced, we will cover the return ground shipping. You still get access to the same online, email, hotline, phone support, 8 to 5 Eastern time, excluding holidays and weekends. That's included with the purchase of your unit. The PMK Select gives you an additional hour per unit that you purchase that plan for of after-hours support. The PMK Premium plan is the same as everything else. You still get that Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 Eastern time support, but you get you get 2 hours, not just 60 minutes, but you get 2 hours per unit that you purchase the plan for of after-hours support. That's all weekdays, no weekends, no holidays, and that return ground shipping. So something happens at 9 o'clock at night, you can call up and you will get after hours technician will connect with you and work through your issues. If it's something that's determined to be replaced, again, we're covering that return ground shipping for you to get that unit replaced. And then last but certainly not least is going to be the PMK Premium Plus. Whew, a lot of P's in that one. The PMK Premium Plus plan, again, includes all that regular 8 to 5 Monday through Friday support. It includes 2 hours per kiosk that the plan is purchased for of after-hours support. That does include holidays and weekends. So one more time for the people in the back. PMK Premium Plus, holidays, nights, and weekends. Sound like an old cell phone commercial. Free nights and weekends. But no, you get 2 hours per unit of holiday, nights, and weekend additional support. In addition to 2-day shipping. So if it's right next door, doesn't matter. If it's California, doesn't matter. You're getting 2-day shipping on us. And that guarantees you a 48-hour head unit replacement. And from the time you call in and it's determined to be a replacement, and you provide the point of contact, the serial number, and who and where it's going to, within 48 hours, we'll have it on a truck on its way to you. And then last but not least for this plan is one on-site tech visit. So if you purchase Premium Plus for your kiosk and you need a tech to come out there, we give you one on-site tech visit included with that plan. That in and of itself is at least a $200 value, at least a $200 for tech to come out. So that's included. That is included with that unit, which logically and from a financial standpoint makes a lot of sense to get that if you're wanting to get the most out of your extended support and extended warranty on that unit. All right. So I'm gonna give a second here, and it is now time for some questions. If you have any questions about the product, anything you need cleared up, I'll do my best to answer them, get them answered, or direct you to the right person whom can. So I'll give you guys a few seconds. I think I see a couple rolling in, so I'll go ahead and get ready to start answering these. All right, so we got a question here from Diego. You missed the first 10 minutes. All right, yeah, Diego, not a whole lot that you missed on that one right there. You wanted to know, will I be talking about the survey feature? So there is a ability. Well, let me put you like this. All right, so there's no direct survey on the unit because this is not a touchscreen device. However, you do have the ability to upload a QR code that a user can scan on the device. So if a user walks to the device, they have a good temperature, it is under the threshold for the high temperature alert, that QR code will populate on the screen. The user can scan that, and if that leads to a survey, or if that leads to another website link, or maybe a login, then that QR code could be anything. It could be an advertisement. You could have someone scan in, visitors, they could scan in and then be directed to your website, be directed to a sign up form. Really, whatever that QR code, whatever your heart desires, you can put the link in there, text, etc. So if you have a survey, Diego, that you want to link to that, you could create a QR code that the user could scan in, and then they could fill out that survey, and you'll know that the only reason they're getting to that survey is that they have scanned in and received, or they have scanned in and they were below that temperature. They have a good or I can't talk, acceptable temperature for the day. Is there a way to set up a first in, first out condition to auto delete records after a certain amount of time? As it sits right now on the kiosk, there is not. You're either keeping those records in that 1 GB rolling data plan, for lack of better words. So it would be limited to how many scans you can have in a gigabyte, or you would be doing a upload to cloud and have no physical records on the kiosk. And if you need to delete or purge from the cloud, of course, there is a 90-day retention policy on those scans. You'll get when you sign up for the MzeroManage software. That's all in that welcome packet. It's all in that initial agreement package. If you want to delete the scans from the cloud, that is possible. I would recommend um, contacting support to walk you through that. That is a very volatile process in the sense of, if you erase the recorded scans from the cloud, they are gone. They are gone forever. It is a record purge. There is no control Z. There is no undo. So that would be something you would want to create a support ticket for. One of our technicians can walk you through that. And of course, they're going to say the same thing I am. Please use this with caution because it will delete all your records out of there. Okay, see, we got another good question here. During the scanned entry, how can one change the time? I was told that it automatically stamped it to the server time. I noticed that when you scanned, it showed yourself in the current time. Okay, perfect question. chances are you are running a older version of the software. I believe it was software version 20040 or 20038, somewhere in the high 30s, low 40s. Currently, we're on version 20046, so we'll just refer to that as version 46. So if you're on version 21 or version 28, some users might have version 28, that would explain it. If you have any issues locating that download file, please contact support. We can direct you to that. You can get that downloaded, you can get that updated, and what that update does is it pulls the local device time and it associates that with the record. So you'll still see a server timestamp in Pacific time, because that's what the back end is reading, but your actual entry time or your image time will be the same. So you're going to want version 46. Let's see. Okay. How can you add additional admin users to assist personnel that is currently assigned as admin? If you open up a support ticket, we'll be happy to do that for you. Currently, the way the portal is set up, we at Meridian have to add those users manually. It's no big deal. Provide their name, first and last, and their email address, and then we'll take it from there. You can do that via the support ticket or help@mzero.com or PMK. Yes, help@mzero.com. And there's also a support link on the website under, well, I guess I'll tell you what, best thing to do, let me show you where that's at real quick. And I'll pop a link into everybody. All right, so you can feel free to do a support link. And I'm sending that to everyone in the call right now. General inquiries, adding users. That web form is great. That way we have a record of it, especially if you're tracking issues or you've had issues in the past. That's going to do that for you. Okay, let's see. We got another question here. All right, I've uploaded a QR code, but after, I hate this thing, makes it so small. I apologize. I can't see as it is. Let's see, I have uploaded the QR code, but after I fill it out, it does not reflect as completed in MzeroManage. That's why I would like to figure out what it is that MzeroManage needs to reflect for the survey it's completed. Okay, I understand what you're saying. So in that entry report, those surveys are tied to another product called Interact or You Spout It. That is a separate piece of software that you can tie in. So that's why you're not seeing that. That's on the back end, and that is You Spout It.com, and I'll send that to you there. Take a look at that. That right there, you would essentially create a survey there. I'm not too familiar with creating surveys on that particular portal or page, but there are some articles on how to do that. So that's where you're seeing that disconnect, is because that's on a whole nother realm, whole nother side of the puzzle onto that one. So yeah, rest assured, if it's something that's not hosted on You Spout It or Meridian M0 Interact, which is a completely another different solution, different kiosk, different flavor, that's why you're not seeing those two tied together. All right, let's see if we got any other ones. All right, doesn't look like we have any other questions, but I do this every time. Maybe you're a slow typer, maybe you're thinking of something, maybe you're listening to another question I had, and it's joggling your brain or getting the creative thinking juices flowing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys about another 30, 40 seconds. If there's no questions, we'll end it. If there are, I'll keep answering. Maybe you're still typing, maybe you're thinking of a question, but I do want to say again, as we started at the beginning, it's just thank you guys so much for joining the first MzeroManage webinar of the new year. Hope everyone had a fantastic holiday season. If you did any traveling, or if you just had a good time eating a bunch of food. Oh my goodness, I did. I don't want to look at ham or turkey or mashed potatoes or green beans for at least another month. Let's see. Okay, give it a few more seconds here. See if there's any questions that roll in. Well, I'm not seeing any questions roll in, so I will end it here today, guys. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for joining. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for being a patron of Meridian. We appreciate your feedback, your questions, and your patronage. I'm just gonna make up words today. Okay, it's just gonna give me the artistic liberty to make up some words. But no, we definitely appreciate you guys. Want to welcome you to the new year, 2021. Let's stay safe. Let's get our temperatures taken. Let's screen and let's use MzeroManage to make that easier for everyone and all parties concerned. So without further ado, I will end it here, and you guys have a great one. I believe. Check the calendar. Check the calendar. I believe the next monthly webinar, we're doing these monthly this year as opposed to weekly. I believe the next one is February 3rd. So mark your dates, mark your calendars, put it on your phone. Go ahead and sign up now. Until then, everyone have a wonderful rest of the afternoon and enjoy your Wednesday.